I'm so happy to talk to you some more about real estate today. Today I want to talk about something called contingencies. So when we make an offer on a house, the offer is contingent on a few things, typically. So our typical offer, the buyer says, I would like to buy your house, but I need to get a loan. So then the offer is contingent, dependent upon, relying on the fact if the buyer can get a loan. So that's one contingency. The second typical contingency is that I would like to buy your house, but I need to have an appraisal. So that's the second. And then the third would be, I would like to buy your house, but I'm going to have the house inspected. So that's my third contingency. So those are the typical three. What do those all mean? So obviously, if you are a buyer and you're getting a loan, you can't buy the house if you can't get the loan. So this contingency gives you a way out. So I'm sorry, Mr. Seller, but I couldn't get my loan, so now I cannot buy your house. Goodbye. And so that gives you the out. Number two, with the appraisal is so that the bank can make sure that they're not lending more money than the house is really worth. So the prices are going up, the buyer goes crazy and wants to offer $700,000 on a house that's worth $300,000. The bank says, well, we're going to have somebody go out and take a look to make sure that this is a good loan for us. We don't want to make a loan for $700,000 on a house that's only worth $300,000. So that's why one of the contingencies may be an appraisal. And then the third contingency is, we want to buy your house, but we need to make sure that it is as good as we think it is. So we're going to have this inspection. We're going to hire a professional inspector to come in and look. And after that inspection, we may have other inspections done. We may have the HVAC system inspected. We may have the roof inspected. We may have the lines that go out to the city sewer inspected. We may have the septic tank inspected. We're going to do all sorts of inspections, or we're able to do all sorts of inspections in our first inspection period. That's also called investigations. I always tell people that the buyer can investigate anything they want. They can have a priest come in and make sure that there's no bad spirits. They can have the electrical checked. They can have anything they want checked. And that's to protect them and to protect the seller, because you do not want to sell a buyer a house if they do not realize what's going on with that house. So you want them to know. So it's good for both the buyers and the sellers. So those are the three typical contingencies. Now, I usually explain this as 3 bumps in the road. So if we can get past these 3 bumps, then we probably have a deal that's happening. This explains why sometimes sellers may prefer a cash offer versus a more conventional offer with a loan, because with a cash offer, there's less bumps, there's less contingencies. So with a cash offer, we don't need to worry about a loan, we don't need to worry about an appraisal. Probably still we are going to have the inspection, so we're down to 1 bump versus 3. So you may wonder, why would a seller prefer this cash offer versus my loan? And that is why. But also you have to remember that when you have cash, it's not necessarily magic. If the house is priced at $300,000 and you have cash and you think, oh, well, they're going to accept $200,000 or $225,000. Well, no, not really. If they have a person who's getting a loan, they're still going to get that $295,000 or $300,000 from them at the end. So it's worth it for them to take the risk if your cash offer isn't really close. If your cash offer is tied or is really close to the person who has a loan, then they may prefer your cash offer, but you're not going to come in and just steal it because it's cash. So those are the typical 3 contingencies. In my next video, I'm going to talk about the contingency of having to sell a home or buy a replacement home. That's when it gets a little bit more complicated. But today we talked about the 3 main contingencies. Thanks.